Alright guys, welcome back and welcome to day 20 of my vlogs. So now that we've almost hit the midway point, I decided, actually just yesterday, that I'm going to do something a little special. When I started these vlogs, I knew I was going to tell a story, but me being who I am, I decided that, I was going to write it out, know what I'm going to talk about every day. Which is, I think I showed it before, but you can kind of see it. But as I progressed on, I've sort of winged it some days, because I was like, I don't think this is going to be enough information for me to talk about for 10 minutes or even more. So, as I deleted stuff, I decided that I gotta do something. I gotta do stuff to fill it in, and that accompanied with, like I said, it being almost the midway point after this vlog today, I decided that I'm going to do something that I originally didn't want to talk about. I think I've said it countless times in my previous vlogs, if not the first vlog, then the second vlog definitely. And before you ask, it's definitely going to correlate to the story. It's what happened to me in high school that changed me, that made me how I am towards most girls. Now, you can probably, if you know me, you're probably like, dude, that's just, your family, you're pretty shy. And that's kind of true. But something happened to me in high school that I've talked to people, to plenty of people about, so this is definitely different. But for the purposes of the story, and another reason I'm doing this is to help make people that's watching this understand a little bit of what's about to happen in the story. As I've said before, what happens between me and Chrissy does not end very well, suffice to say. And this definitely doesn't, this story, mini story I guess I could say, does not have a huge effect on what happened between me and Chrissy, but it did definitely have a role. And with that being said, this special thing I'm going to do is that this is actually going to be a 2-day vlog. So what I'm talking about today is going to be today and tomorrow. About what happened to me in high school. So, to start things off and to hopefully pack in enough stuff for today, it was around sophomore year of high school. I had just started, I think it's around that time, I had just started something in the Catholic Church, which, if you know what I'm talking about, will be easy to understand, but if you don't, I had started a thing called confirmation, which is, something that you go through to, I guess you could say, to confirm your faith in the church and God and in its teachings. And, back then, I was definitely on board with that. I was like, I had to go anyway. My parents would have forced, I wouldn't say they would have forced me, but, my mom and dad made me, told me to go, so I went. And at that time, I had just started marching band. I wasn't in it my freshman year. And so, I didn't have a lot of friends, because most of my friends from high school were came from band. So, I went through this group, and, it was a group of maybe a dozen kids and one group leader. And, as we made our way around, introducing ourselves to each other, I kind of knew a couple kids from my school. I knew definitely one kid that sat next to me, or not next to me, but, sat with, who I hung out with in the mornings in high school. But as we got through everybody, I think even before it was her turn, I already started to notice this girl, like it was to my left, like in the corner. When she introduced herself, which, just like Chrissy, I'm going to use a fake name in the story because I don't want to. Which is weird because if you know me, you kind of know the story and you know who it is. But, for the purposes of this vlog, considering I put all these things public, I'm going to go ahead and use a fake name. And when I was doing my dry run through of this, just before I taped this, I was looking at my sort of online poster. So we're going to give her the fake name of Asuna. I was introduced to Asuna, and the first thing I found out about her was that she was also in band. I can't for the life of me remember if we had gone through the sophomore show yet or not. I want to say we might have, but I can't say for certain. But anyway, that's not important. As I went through this, as I went through this thing, through confirmation, I got to know Asuna a little bit better. I hung out with her and my other friend that I said I hung out with before. We were the three people in our group that always hung up together when we were there. And so, as I got to know her, I definitely developed a crush. I wouldn't say right away, but slightly through it. Kind of, I guess you could say gradually. The difference between my crush on Asuna compared to, crushes I'd had on girls before was that, I like to say that, I hope I don't sound dirty, but, I was once upon a time obviously a kid. Everything before that, it was just me developing a crush on a girl because I thought she was hot. Because I thought that, I was just like, oh, this girl looks cute. Let me, But the thing of, that's, I like to think that's a typical, preteen to teenager at the time. But the moment that I met Asuna, as I got to know her, it definitely felt different in the sense that, for all intents and purposes, I should just say that in my mindset, and I still move back and forth between this to this day, whether it was true or not. I'm just gonna bluntly say it. When I met Asuna, I fell in love with her because I liked how she was. I liked who she was. I didn't fall in love with her because I wanted to have sex with her. Unlike almost every other girl I had a crush on before that. And in my mindset, that was just like, okay, this is something totally different, from things before. I have to act a certain way. I have to really try for this because it was something that I definitely knew in my heart that I wanted. And throughout the summer and throughout the rest of my sophomore and into my junior year, even through actually, I can already go ahead and do today. I can just go ahead and go through our time in confirmation. We got to be, I wouldn't say best friends. I don't even think I'd say close friends, but I think we got to be pretty decent friends. I knew a little bit about her, which I didn't know really much about any girl at the time, so I was just like, I was pretty happy with that. So, it was just something that I was just like, okay, for the first, 15, 16 years of my life, I was just, I guess in my mindset, I guess I should say, I thought that I was just a boy and that this was my time to be a man and, do something, put some effort into something. And that effort, being trying to win her over, I guess you could say. And, for that entire time, for everything up to, I'd say about April of my junior year, which is where I'll stop today, was pretty good. It had its ups and downs. I believe she had a boyfriend throughout it for a little bit of that time, and when that happened, I was definitely a little disappointed, but we weren't close enough that I was like gonna be able to do anything about it, gonna be able to change her mind. So I was just like, I'm just gonna let it run its course and hope for the best. And it did happen. It did. They ended up breaking They ended up breaking up in pretty good nature. It didn't take that long. But anyway, so I was like, up to then I was like, just trying to learn enough about her. Oh, I guess there is one thing that I can't talk about today. I guess I'll add it to tomorrow, but it did definitely happen during our time in confirmation. I'll just wrap up by saying that the reason I wanted to talk about this was because at this point in the story, like I said yesterday, Chrissy had gone home for the holidays, and gone to Georgia, and I guess I was just a little scared, not even just for her in the traditional sense of me being like, I hope she's okay, I hope she comes back alright and all that stuff, but it was more, I was a little scared for me because this had been like, it was kind of like the time we took a break where I had no one to talk to. She was someone that I had gotten close to over the year, someone that I could share almost all my secrets with, and her leaving kind of made me a little sad, made me worried about myself in the sense that, what I was going to do, how was I going to, obviously I was going to be able to get through it, but, what was I going to do, because I believe I said yesterday that I didn't even have her present lined up yet. And so that's where I'm going to end the vlog today. To be honest, I'm probably just going to shoot the second part right now because I'm already into it. So that when you see the second part tomorrow, don't be alarmed because I'm going to be wearing the same clothes. But until then, see ya.